I am a temple who walks the earth. My womb is fertile for giving birth. I am a woman planted in truth. I grow my branches from sacred roots. You are the form of who you want to be. So come untethered, your soul is free. We're here to heal, we're here to thrive. We are a dream who's come alive. We light a candle, our hearts awake. Illumination for God's sake. A revelation for God's sake. An evolution for God's sake. An inspiration for God's sake. 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 For God's sake.
And so it is. Hello, Essence. This is Jody England, and you are listening to Wild Soul Medicine Radio. So I think you're listening. It's really hard to tell because I'm having some really funky issues with my computer and the technology, and this is start number 3 for the show today. And you know, what we had planned to do was to have a conversation with Viv and I about all of the magic that's been happening with each of us personally behind the scenes. And it's really been some beautiful, amazing work. And it feels potent and important. And I thought it would be fun for you to hear a perspective of, you know, just really like, how do we do this new paradigm stuff here? Because we absolutely practice what we preach. And then, you know, what becomes really curious is as we start to do the show, so it was about 45 minutes before showtime that I actually decided that Viv and I were going to do this conversation. So she wasn't really prepared for it. And so there's turbulence, you know, from that of like the nervousness of her coming to do this and you know, share these intimate behind the scenes things. And then what I was feeling in my system was I was feeling so free and clear from the session that we did that I really just wanted to be in beingness. You know, I wanted to just think and journal, and it felt like, well, I had to get going because the show was about to start, and you know, I'm supposed to be here, and there are these things that I'm obligated to do. And you know, it's really interesting because the way that I've structured my life, you know, to this point is I don't have a lot of things that I'm committed to do. There are very few things that I actually have to show up for. And yet, you know, so then, you know, the story becomes like, well, there aren't that many things. And so I have to do it, even if it doesn't feel good in my system in that moment. And I feel like, you know, that's a dance because in some ways we do need to push through our edges and we need to do the things we cannot do. And we also need to push through our patterns. And so if our pattern is to show up for something, even when our system tells us not to, then sometimes what we need to do is actually do the opposite of that. And so, you know, the more we tried to get this thing going, the more I started feeling like I just don't even want to do this today. I don't want to, I do want to talk to you, and I also want to be with me. And it's wild because, of course, the universe has been giving me message after message about going inward and being with myself and expanding into beingness. And I keep not doing it. You know, there's every story about why not now. And then the universe is like taking one thing after another away. So literally, like I can see the thing that needs connected for us to be able to hear Viv, and my computer will not connect it. And then we tried another workaround of going to my cell phone, but then when she calls in on my cell phone, it disconnects it, right? And then as I started to get on here, I said to Viv, like, I may just say I don't feel like doing it. but I was still feeling internally like, well, but of course I'm going to do it because I have to do it. So as I started talking, my computer, one of the ones that I used to do the show, actually pops up this window saying, this computer is going to shut down in 10, 9, 8. So, you just have to laugh because, I'm willing, right? I'm willing to show up. And of course, that was the big clearing that Viv and I just did. It was another piece of my core wounding with my mother, and this egoic, which is both my strong suit and also my shadow. So my strong suit is my will can really create worlds and shatter worlds and get to the deepest places that otherwise couldn't be gotten. And also the will is my biggest teacher. And it's about learning to let my heart lead and not will myself into and through places that my heart says, not now, not yet, not this, And so it just feels to me like we're getting a beautiful dose of that today for all of us. And so I'll just share my medicine right along with you, as I always do, which is, if you came here expecting to get something, we're getting a different something. And that something is perhaps for you too, a call to be in, a call to be with, really be with whatever you would have avoided by listening to an hour show today. Be with whatever you would have to be with if you listen to me instead of listening to yourself, And there's no judgment in any of it. And, and for some of you who are great students and great followers and great listeners, of the show, perhaps this is a call for you to be a great follower and a listener of yourself and whatever's calling to you today. So I'm going to go in. I got it, universe. The messages are loud and clear. And I invite you to do the same. And then we will reconvene next week with whatever magic and miracles await. I do feel like we will have a conversation with Viv, and hopefully that will be next week. But, as I'm learning the best laid plans, so we just roll with it and we move with grace and ease toward aligning with what's so. So for now, my loves, I see you. I appreciate you. I love you with so much gratitude for your patience and persistence in being with us today. And I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.
We light a candle, our hearts awake. Illumination, for God's sake. A revelation, for God's sake. An inspiration, for God's sake. Illumination, for God's sake. For God's sake. For God's sake. For God.